Welcome back. This is James Reese from Razorwire, a Razorthorn production, and basically I'd like to introduce you to a new set of podcasts that we're looking to do going forward. But hopefully by now you've seen the interview with myself. We're going to be running a number of different interviews with a number of different people from across the information security industry. We're also going to be potentially interviewing a number of people who are CTOs, that kind of thing, to kind of get a bit of a view also of what people think about information security, maybe slightly outside of the actual infosec industry. So you can get a good all-round view of what we're about, why we're here, what we do, that kind of thing. So if you're looking to get into infosec, or you've got an interest in infosec, or maybe you're a business person who wants to understand a little bit more about the world of infosec, hopefully you'll be getting a good list of things to consider, good bits of information, and a bit of guidance as well. So this is the second time I've tried this one. The first time I forgot to turn on the sound, so I spoke for 45 minutes about this particular subject, and yeah, it didn't go anywhere. So take two, let's see if this one works out a little bit better. So really what I want to kind of start with is what is information security and why is it kind of important? Security and securing critical assets, no matter what they are, be they digital, be they physical, whatever, it's not a new concept, and it's been around since our ancestors really kind of crawled out of the primordial ooze. Security's been a way of life and a basic need for a long time now, well before any of modern times. As a species, we've always kind of grown, expanded, and then secured an ever increasing kind of array of resources, you know, be it food, be it metals, be it sort of natural resources. Whatever we've been doing as a species, you know, we have a tendency to go out, exploit, expand, secure, and then move on to the next thing. And it's been part of our daily lives since the year dot. As I said, you know, when we were sitting around in caves, securing our food sources was something that we were constantly looking to do. Obviously we don't live in caves anymore, but the concept is still really there. It's just changed and evolved over time along with us as a species. One thing that we've maybe forgotten a little bit in more kind of modern times has been, you know, applying that security aspect to kind of like the emerging digital world. There's a lot of people focused at the moment on tooling, digital tooling, and building kind of like the new business world in a digital environment. And that's been going on for a long time now. I mean, the internet really sort of started to come into things in the mid-90s. It'd been around a little bit beforehand, but that's when people started to really exploit it. And then we had the dot-com boom bust, and now we're living in a world where everything is connected, everything is digital. We are reliant on our technology as a species to progress and to continually develop. And we've hit a point in our history where innovation is occurring at a ridiculously quick rate compared to what it used to. You know, nowadays, whereas before, you know, to discuss concepts with people, maybe you had to travel a long distance, maybe you had to send letters. Now it's almost instantaneous. You know, we've got broadband connections now which allow me to connect to somebody, say in Australia, New Zealand, the Americas, anywhere I feasibly want, pretty much instantly. So we can discuss innovations, ways forward, have meetings with people without the kind of time lag. Now, this has been fantastic in many respects. You know, we've gone through many life-changing innovations in technology, especially in the last kind of 20 odd years. But now we're kind of starting to move to the next phase, be it cryptocurrency, be it AI, you know, technology and computer technology, mobile technology have all become so intrinsically interwoven in our lives that if it was all taken away tomorrow, we would find it very difficult to operate. Nigh impossible, in fact, you know. One of the things that we need to start looking seriously at what we're doing is down the security side of the fence. I think, innovation is great, but if we're not securing that innovation, if we're not securing our assets, our digital assets, then all that's going to happen is somebody at some point is going to compromise it, or a security event will occur, which will dramatically affect us either in our daily lives or our organizations, and in fact we have been seeing a lot of that in the media. There's been a lot of high profile hacks recently in the last couple of years. Those hacks have been very, very damaging from a financial point of view, from a industry point of view, and for people's daily lives. We need to change the way that we do things. So the business world kind of forgets that digital security is pretty important. I don't think I'm alone in thinking that. Good example. So, a lot of people don't think, they need to have fire insurance for their house. A lot of people see the premiums going out on a regular basis, and eventually at some point it's like, well, I haven't had a fire, and I'm paying out all this money just in case I have one. I'm not wasting this money. No, you're probably not, because if you speak to somebody who has had a fire in the house where they have lost all their stuff, their computers, their books, their personal effects, pictures of the children, whatever it may well be, then they will tell you, that premium that you pay for fire insurance is probably the best premium you'll ever pay, because the people who are questioning whether or not they need that kind of insurance have never experienced loss, or they haven't experienced loss, that's really affected them. Whereas maybe the people who have had that fire and they have lost all their stuff, or a large majority of their stuff, they appreciate, you do have to put something in place so you can get your life back in order. It's a very weird example, but it works, and it's the same in the digital world as well. You can have an organisation who could be making millions upon millions upon millions of dollars or pounds or whatever over the course of the year, providing services to customers, maybe members of the public. Maybe you're a e-commerce company who provides goods to individuals who pay for it on your e-commerce server. Maybe you've made it really, really easy for them by allowing them to kind of store their payment details, so it's kind of like that one-click purchase, which seems to be very, very popular these days. But it can all come crashing down. If you get somebody who manages to hack into your systems and compromise your network infrastructure and grab hold of that information and run off into the deep dark web with it and sell it on, you're going to end up having quite a nasty PR security event that could, in many ways, completely destroy your business. And it doesn't take long at all. Okay, yes, if you're a big organisation, you could probably survive it, but not without a significant cost in PR, significant cost in recovery, fines, whatever that may well be. What information security is designed to do really is to protect the organisation's key assets. And those key assets can be something digital, they can be something physical, they can be anything. And an information security professional, what their job is really there to do is to protect those critical assets from some kind of loss. That loss could be a hacker, or that loss could be somebody making a mistake and accidentally deleting something rather critical. What we do is we look at those assets and we figure out ways to protect them from possible security events. And we do try to predict certain events. We look at existing data or what's going on. Are there people actively hunting down things like credit card information out there in the wilds? Yes, there are. It's very valuable. If you sell that kind of information in the dark web, then you can make yourself an absolute mint. If you compromise a company's database and you manage to get, 1 million people's worth of personal information, as well as credit card information, then you've got everything that you need in order to steal those people's identities, run up massive debts, and that company who had the breach will have to explain to their customers, to maybe sort of government institutions, people who regulate them, on what exactly happened and why it happened. InfoSec is an interesting sector. It's never boring by any stretch of the imagination. There's a lot that goes on. There's a lot to consider, and you have to spend a lot of time thinking of different ways to compromise the environment you're there to protect. And that's really where the fun comes in. And it is fun, looking at an organization, looking at their assets, looking at, how can I compromise this organization in order to cause it a significant loss? And how do I protect against that kind of eventuality? That's kind of really key in many respects of what we do. Now, in security, we have two aspects of it. You have information security, where we're securing information, digital assets, that kind of thing. You then have cyber security, where you're facilitating the security of technical infrastructure, that kind of thing. You then got something called governance. Now, governance is policies, procedures, potentially people as well, security awareness, where you're putting not necessarily security technology in place to protect an environment, but what you're doing is you're creating a culture of awareness, a culture of security. You're putting in policies on how to handle security, what you're going to do, strategy, that kind of thing as well. All of these areas are pretty viable for an InfoSec person, and many of us will cross into multiple areas. The life of an information security person, as I said before, is never boring. And there's plenty of ways that you can get into the business, and there's plenty of avenues when you are in the business to go down. A lot of people who get in commonly will get in from maybe more the technical side of things, or that used to be what happened about sort of 15, 20 years ago. I've been in the game for 25 years, and that's predominantly 25 years ago how I got into it. I did first and second line support, as you probably saw in the interview, and then progressed naturally into security. It was something I was interested in. Nowadays it's a lot easier. There's a lot more resources available out on the internet for you to read on how to do risk management, how to do incident response, how to secure technical environments, the types of security technology you've got available to you, be it antivirus and endpoint security, be it DDoS protection, be it any kind of concept of security that you can learn is out there on the internet and readily available for you. What we don't see a lot of is what it's like to be an InfoSec person. How do you get into it? What kind of mindset do you have to have? What are key important skills that you will need in your career to be the best possible security person that you can be? And that's really what this set of podcasts is for. And it's going to come in two aspects. Some of it is just going to be me talking. So you're going to be listening to me discussing aspects of information security in the business, and what it's like to be in that space. And then we'll go over different concepts. And then other things that we're going to be doing is interviewing individuals who are already in that space, who can advise and kind of give you guidance on how they got into the space, what they've experienced in that space, some of the gotchas, some of the challenges. And we're going to be interviewing a lot of different people from a lot of different sides of the fence. So you're going to have potentially pen testers, CISOs, CTOs, that kind of thing, who can kind of give you an all-round guidance. So as you're going to progress in your career, you can maybe look at some of these people, listen to the interviews, understand how they got into it, what they've been doing, and it might make your transition into this space a lot easier. The learning curve for InfoSec is very high. The mindset is going to be very different potentially from where you were before, and some of the things you'll need to think about are definitely going to be potentially a little bit on the alien side to you. But get it right, take the tips, get good mentors, you can carve yourself a really, really good experience in the infosec sector. It's 2020 at the moment. We're just about to go into 2021. So we've had this massive problem this year with the pandemic, and it's changing the way that people view security quite dramatically. It's an interesting time to be in infosec. So please feel free to sort of stick with us on this channel, provide commentary, provide ideas. If there's something that you want us to cover, then we'll cover it. If there's somebody, some aspect of infosec that you want to learn a little bit more about, we can go in more in depth into those. As I said, this is going to be a regular thing. We're going to sprinkle it with a number of other pieces of content as well, but really we're here to help you in your career or for you to understand a bit more about the infosec space. So please feel free to subscribe below, press the little bell to get notifications. Keep an eye on our website. If you've got anything you want us to cover, you'll see some communication information down in the descriptions. If there's any questions you want us to pose to some of the people that we interview, they've all said that they're more than happy to take questions, and they'll try to answer them as best as possible. If we need to get them back on the channel, so we can cover some of those items, then we'll ask very nicely and hopefully they'll say yes. But really, I'm here for you. Razorthorn is here for you to help guide you. So thank you very much for listening to that very long introduction. Let's see where we go with this. Thank you very much. Look after yourselves. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And we'll be in touch soon. Thank you very much. Goodbye.